Okay, Allison Grodner, you have produced Big Brother for basically almost 2 decades now.
Ah,
And in all, in all of that time, did you ever think that American audiences would finally get to see a celebrity version?
celebrity versions of Big Brother in the US have been talked about since almost the beginning. I started producing with Big Brother 2, and we looked to cast a celebrity version for during season 3 and season 4. At that time, there wasn't a lot of the celebrity programming, and they were, so we're thinking this is perfect. Just wasn't the right time. The show was successful, but hadn't taken off as sort of the pop culture hit that it is now. And I think the casts we were getting, it just didn't feel right. And I'm glad we waited. It's always been talked about, but honestly, it wasn't seriously talked about until this past year. And we came off an amazing summer with Big Brother 19, strong ratings, consistency, lots of good buzz. And the network said, let's do this. Let's give it a shot.
And this was really CBS's way of counter programming the Olympics, right? So that's why,
I think
is that right now was the right time?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get into the CBS's head about all of that, but I think that was a big factor. I think having the successful summer, having just we're still, after all these years, being talked about. We have the strong ratings, and it was, well, why not? Why not have? It's great timing with the Olympics. It's great counter programming. We bring the Big Brother audience into the winter to watch the show. They're consistent. And with a celebrity cast, we'll bring in an even bigger audience with the fans of those celebrities.
Mm-hmm. When the announcement was made last summer, I was so excited. That was my first thought. My second thought was, what kind of people are they going to get to take time out of their lives for a month and just kind of be on a reality TV show? So take us through the casting process. Was it easy or was it difficult?
Well, I have to say I was skeptical, because I know we tried years and years and years ago, and the idea of getting celebrities to make that kind of time commitment, and even this was, it's short. It's 3 weeks of their lives. It's still a big deal. I mean, when you add it all up with the time they needed to be in sequester and all that, they're committing to a month. They were going to be gone from their lives and their careers for a month, and I thought, wow, at this point, are we going to be able to get the cast we want? I was probably more skeptical than everyone else. We went into casting, and honestly, we have so many celebrity fans that have, sort of enjoyed us over the years, that it was great to reach out to them first. And truthfully, we had, I'd say, a third of our cast were super fans, if not a little bit more. And that worked out perfectly. I mean, you had Ross and Marissa, Shannon, Omarosa. I mean, one of the main reasons she said yes, and that was, a tough get, but was because she's an actual fan, a real legitimate fan of the show.
That was probably the casting scoop of the decade. When I heard that Omarosa was going to be on Celebrity Big Brother, I couldn't believe how you guys pulled that off. But knowing that she's a super fan, it made it a lot easier.
Look, if she wasn't a fan of the show, I don't see how she would have done this. I mean, the timing for her, she had just left the White House. She had, book deals and other things to consider. And yet I know from having met her years and years ago on another show that she's a fan of the show. And, and obviously CBS came in and said, the timing's right. This is perfect for you. And it's interesting because there was a lot of asking and a lot of resisting, and then she did it.
Mm-hmm. Were you worried at all that she wouldn't be able to talk about the White House? Maybe she would be under, what's the thing called?
Confidentiality or,
right.
Yeah.
Were you worried that she wouldn't, or that maybe she was so loyal to the president that she wouldn't want to talk about it?
Yeah. Well, that was a big part of her coming on. I think she wanted people to hear her unedited, version of events that she could talk about, and also to show another side of herself. I think there's, been a lot in the press. There's the assumption, which, we all know her from The Apprentice, of being the reality villain, one of the most notorious reality villains of all time. Then there's all of the stories and gossip and rumors and true, not, we don't know, coming out of the White House and those stories. And I think this was an opportunity, especially with the live feed, for her to show that she's more than that there are other sides to her personality. And I think she accomplished that. We knew that there would be stories here and there and little tidbits, and obviously we use those throughout the series. But I think that's what made the live feed part of this so fascinating. Having Omarosa on the live feed was something that, I don't think we've ever had anything comparable. This was the first time the New York Times asked for a live feed pass.
Wow.
I mean, we were involved in a White House press conference. I don't know if you saw that day.
I think I did.
We were a question from a reporter to the press secretary about what Omarosa had said about, there was the whole "we're not going to be okay" and her conversation with Ross. And they had prepared a statement. They knew this was coming, and they had prepared a statement. And it was crazy. I mean, to have a statement, which I can only guess came directly from him, because, how could it not, stating she's been fired 4 times, 3 on The Apprentice and once from the White House. And we were in shock. I mean, that's nuts.
I'm addicted to CNN. It's always on in the background. And I remember one time Anderson Cooper was talking about Omarosa, and he's like, "I've never seen a second of Big Brother before, but Omarosa is killing it on the show." Like he didn't know what it was, but she was so captivating to watch.
Oh, it was. I mean, between her and the other celebrities and doing this sort of 2.5-week stunt against the Olympics, we brought in a wider audience. It was, people came in who, even though we've been on the air for 19 seasons, came in to our show who would never have come to our show before. And it was fascinating. I mean, yes, to have a press secretary and to have people tweeting like Joy Reid to be talked about on the late night shows with Colbert and with Kimmel and showing the clips. And now we became part of that national conversation was amazing. It was amazing casting for the show. And I think, it was ultimately good for future seasons in that we brought in an audience we wouldn't normally have.
The final vote came down to Ross versus Marissa. I personally think that Ross played the better game, but I was very happy Marissa ended up being the winner. As a producer, do you get involved? Like I really hope this person wins, or I hope this person wins, or do you try to separate from that?
We root for a good story. I think we want to have a satisfying ending. And look, I think Ross played an amazing game. And what's really fun about the show is it's unexpected. Up until that last minute, and I get the keys. I get that during that commercial break, the keys come to me in the live show booth, and I'm counting them, and I'm flipping them over, and everyone's huddled around, and we're like, what? It's a shocker. We knew we had a somewhat bitter jury. We knew that, and honestly, it's a tough one. Marissa had an amazing social game. So in the end, I think it was good. The result was good. It was controversial, I think. It was surprising. I think that Ross making it to the end and at least getting second place, thank goodness, was well deserved. I mean, he really played an amazing game.
And winning America's vote too. I'm glad he
also, I think that a lot for him. I think he was really concerned. A lot of people are, because they're in the bubble. What did I do? And I think that helped to validate that he did indeed play a great game.
And there were 2 celebrities that kind of threw in the towel, although they still were voted out officially. They kind of asked to be voted out, Keisha and Meta World Peace.
Yeah.
Tell us what that's like from a production standpoint when somebody essentially wants to quit.
Yeah. Well, we knew that was possible, especially on a celebrity edition. I mean, we have a long history in Big Brother of having no one quit for a 3-month run during the summer. We've had many people want to, and then they change and they go back in there and they change things around. We were fully expecting that we would have at least one person quit the game. I think what we didn't expect is that they'd last long enough to make an exit through the front door instead of the back door.
Yeah.
So it was surprising. I think both of those episodes were awesome episodes of television. I think that if we were to do another celebrity edition, we might look at that differently and really talk to them about, if this is going to happen, we can't have it happen through the front door. We really want the game to play out the way the game's supposed to play out. But you never know what's going to happen. I think, look, Meta tried to walk out many, many times. But in the end, he didn't, he himself made the decision to come and continue to play. It's just, he had a hard time. I'm amazed he made it as long as he did.
I think he wanted to leave like week 1 or something.
Oh, day 1. I mean, even the day before we put him in the house.
Although
we didn't force him to do anything. He just, part of him was, I made this commitment, I want to do this, but the other part of him refused to even look at what Big Brother was. So he was figuring it out as he was in the show. And we've since talked to him. He wants to go back in. He loves the show. He's a big fan now. He's watching it online. I wish he had done that prior.
Yeah, one of the best moments was the first time he voted, and he voted the wrong way. He voted to keep someone instead of send him home. You can't script things like that.
Oh my God. By the way, I love that he was a part of the show. I think his naivete about the show, his just sort of kooky presence on a regular basis with the owl and the odd things and not knowing anything really gave, it was perfect. It helped with of course, the comedy. But it was nice to see him against like super fans like Ross and Shannon, who knew everything about the show. He literally knew nothing. He didn't watch one episode before he walked in.
You guys did have a really good mix of the super fans and then people who didn't really know anything. Like I'm thinking of the James Maslow scene where he met Omarosa and he didn't know who Omarosa was. I couldn't believe I was actually watching that happen.
Isn't that crazy? That was minute one. Like it was they were in for 30 minutes or something. And we were listening and we hear him say, "Oh, so what do you do?" She's like, "Oh, well, I'm from the Apprentice and all of that." And he's like, "Who were you an apprentice to?" He's like, "Donald Trump." And he still didn't connect it. I mean, it's just a different generation. If you think about it, I mean, you're looking at this 20-something, and that apprentice, her original apprentice and all of that was quite a ways back.
You kind of alluded to this earlier, but if you guys do another celebrity version, what kind of tweaks or changes will you make? Or are you really happy with how this one turned out?
There's always room to change things creatively and to freshen it up and to look at things that you could do better. Look, I think it was an incredibly successful season. I mean, we do this on the summer seasons as well. Every year we're trying to reinvent it in its way, keep what works and twist things up. I think, what the quitting element is something we're going to look at. What can we do so that people aren't asking on a regular basis to be voted out? I think we need to make sure with this, that they're committing to this fully, and that if they really can't handle it and need to quit, that we figure out another way of doing it. Mm-hmm. I do think there's something to learn from that and to figure out differently. Other than that, look, we can't have it be every season is different, no matter what. And there'll be another twist. There'll be something else that the celebrities have to go through. If we do this again, I'm sure we'll play with the schedule a little bit. This was made to go against the Olympics, so it was very specific in how it rolled out. What will we be doing if we do it again next year?
Can you talk a little bit about Julie Chen? She is so perfect in this role. I can't imagine anyone else having been chosen to host Big Brother.
I can't either. I mean, she is Big Brother in many respects. She's the Chen bot, and she embraces that. I think that's what's so fun about it is that she knows also, when to be serious and when to poke fun at herself. And I think that's really important on this show. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and so she can't either. And so you see her making fun of Chen bot references. You see her and her patented, butt first. Mm-hmm. So I think that she sets the perfect tone for what this show is.
And we're here talking now in April, but you're already planning for season 20, which will be this summer.
Yeah.
Is there going to be anything special to commemorate the 20th anniversary? That's a big number.
It's a big number. It's going to be a big season. We have a lot planned for this season. I think there's certain expectations from our fans that it'll be an all-star season and all of that. And I think we pretty much put that to rest. This will be a brand new cast. We are in casting right now. We are really excited about completely revamping this house. Wait till you see it. It's a whole new thing. It's spectacular. We are excited about some really new and innovative twists that will help commemorate this 20th season.
Well, we are an awards website at Gold Derby, so I have to ask you Emmy question. You won an Emmy or 2 Emmys for the Teen Files for Best Children's Program. So you've been around the Emmy block before. What would it mean to have Emmy voters embrace this season of Celebrity Big Brother?
We all work really hard on the show and love this show. I think that it would mean a lot, because it would mean that our colleagues really appreciate what we put into this. This is a show unlike any other. This is a show where we are turning around hours of primetime television in 1 or 2 days. We are very proud of what we do on the show in terms of the storytelling, the creative effort that goes into it, and all of the departments, post being key. I mean, it really is, to take all of that footage and make compelling hours of television at record time and turning that around. It's something that I know that the audience doesn't appreciate Big Brother for that, but I would hope that, you know, the Emmy voters would. And the art department that pulls out all of these competitions also in record time and transforms that backyard, and the creativity that goes into these competitions that are unlike any other show on air right now. So there's so many people that work really hard to make this show the best that it could possibly be. And so it would be, it would be amazing to be recognized for that. I mean, we are, you know, we always look at Big Brother as being, oh, you know, people say, oh, Big Brother, that show that's still on the air, but it's still working. We're still successful. So we have to be doing something right.
Well, it was great to talk to you. I've been a fan of the show for forever. And this is a show that just keeps getting better and better. Season 19 was fantastic. I love Celebrity Big Brother. I can't wait for number 20.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching and being a fan. 20 is going to be great.